Panzer here, and recently Libra October asked me, well, he left a comment asking me if I could do a video on my thoughts about PC gaming, what I like about it, the issues I have with it, and I am more than happy to oblige, my friends, so here it is. Now, to put it simply, the reason why I enjoy PC gaming so much is because there's a lot of games on the PC that I'm just not going to ever get on the console. That's pretty much it for the most part. I mean, Civilization 3, Civilization 4, Civilization 5. I know Civilization 6 is on the consoles, but it's just, from everything I've seen with Civ 6, it's so similar to the previous installment that I'm not going to even bother with it. It's not even worth it to me to get Civilization 6. Oh, and Civilization Revolution I know is on the Xbox 360 and those types of those consoles. I believe 7th generation consoles. And the Nintendo DS, which I actually have it on the DS, but that's aside the point. It's the simulation and the strategy games that you're not going to easily find on a console. Well, I shouldn't say easily, just that aren't published on the console and most likely won't be. Civilization 3, 4, and 5, for example, but there's also Age of Empires 3, there's Hearts of Iron 4, there's all sorts of games I could list off the top of my head. And some of the exclusives I play on the PC may eventually come to console. Now, as far as my history with PC gaming, because I think it's important to bring up, is I actually started with the PlayStation 1 back in around 1998. I don't remember exactly what time period, but I think it might have been late spring, early summer, somewhere around there. I'd gone to a relative's house, and they had a PlayStation 1 and a copy of Gran Turismo, and I was real interested in cars in my young age. I was born in 92, by the way, so I was like 5-ish at the time. And so I asked my great-grandmother, who adopted me. That's a totally different story in and of itself. But I asked her if she could get me a PlayStation 1 and a copy of Gran Turismo, and she did. And I've been gaming ever since. I started with some of the other racing games after that. NASCAR 98, Formula 1, a couple of others. And then she got me Crash Bandicoot Warped. My first taste of a non-racing video game, with the exception of 2 LCD games, if you count that. You know, if you've seen the Game & Watch or the Tiger Electronics games, pretty much that. One was a Tiger Electronics football, and the other one was some sort of fishing game. But anyways, aside from those two, my first experience with a non-racing game is Crash Bandicoot Warped. Now, I didn't get a PC till about 7 years later, back in 2005. And I don't remember the exact specs of it, but I will try and use I will try to get a picture of it to use for this video. And what I do remember is that mine had a 40 gigabyte hard drive, and it only had a CD-ROM drive. It didn't have a DVD-ROM or DVD-CD combo, just regular CD drive. So, but I had a lot of fun with it. Got to experience a lot of exclusive games on it. Civilization 3 and 4, Medieval 2, Total Warfare, Rome, Total Warfare, Immortal Cities Children of the Nile, The Sims 3, SimCity 4 Deluxe Edition, as well as SimCity 3000. The list goes on and on. Nowadays, things are a little bit different because although that is still why I play on the PC, with recent developments with the more modern consoles, excluding the Switch, which Switch has its own problems, but I do really enjoy the Switch. But aside from the Switch, if it's a modern-ish game and I can't get it on the Switch, I'll get it on the PC. I used to do the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One and the Xbox Series S, but I sold the Xbox One because I thought, well, I'd just rebuy it on the Series S and then I wouldn't miss anything. And these discs are just going to be sitting there. And PlayStation 4, I thought about selling it when the CMOS battery issue started, and I decided, nah, I wouldn't. And then I go log on my PlayStation 3, and Sony's wanting me to do this stupid QR code. And I tried that, and then I got locked out of my account. Took me forever to get back into it. And I just basically said, forget this, and sold the PlayStation 4 consoles, the games. I did keep one controller. So, pretty much Switch, PC, and the more retro consoles, the Xbox 360 on back, so to speak. Oh, and I do have the Wii. And I actually have a Wii U, but I don't really use that much. The Wii U gamepad's broken anyway, so it doesn't do me any good except for Minecraft machine. And the only difference between Minecraft on the Wii U and the 360 is the Wii U has less lag. That's literally it. So, now, for the crux of the question, I've more or less answered what I like about the PC, and one thing that PC gamers often bring up is the mouse and keyboard, and to me, it matters what game I'm playing. Alright? A real-time strategy game, even a regular strategy game, I usually prefer mouse and keyboard. Simulation kinda depends on what I'm simulating. First-person shooters, though, yeah, controller. Platformers, RPGs, controllers. There are a handful of games that fit in more or less those type of categories, so I do prefer the mouse and keyboard in. Mountain Blade Warband, for example, I had that on the PlayStation 4. You could download it on that, and then I also had it on the PC, and I always preferred the PC version in the mouse and keyboard. Plus, I think you could have more troops on the field in the PC version, which is weird because this game will run just fine with max troops on a NVIDIA GT 730 graphics card with 1 GB of DDR3 memory, so the PlayStation 4 had no excuse in that book. It was just lazy port. But War Thunder, yeah, when I was playing that, I preferred mouse and keyboard as well. And of course, the frame rates, I may have said this before, I do apologize. I do have a very, very, very slight case of attention deficit disorder, so if I repeat myself, that's why. But the frame rate is a good thing to an extent, as is the increasing graphics, but it's not really that important to me. As long as the frame rate is playable, I'll enjoy it for the most part. Now, what I dislike about the PC, well, there's the online requirements, the whole thing with the vast majority of the games having it to where you have to download it from Steam or Epic or Microsoft. You don't have any disc, which is kind of frustrating in some ways. I mean, some games are still technically sold on the disc, but not in that many anymore, and like 90% of them require Steam or a Ubisoft launcher, or whatever launcher. It requires something. Origin launcher. Another thing that frustrates me is the online DRM in some of these games. Like, okay, to download it and activate it, that's fine. But it should be a one-time thing. If I've activated the game, as long as I haven't done anything with the files or anything, I shouldn't have to reactivate it again or sign on to any servers or anything like that just to play the game. And another thing is that sometimes the PC versions have more bugs, and sometimes it's not even so much bugs as it is quirks. And I remember Sword Art Online Hollow Fragment. For whatever reason, when I was playing that game on the PC, and it may be fixed now, so don't quote me on this, but back when I was playing it, I could not get it to work at all except with the PlayStation 4 controller. In fact, I kept one of my PlayStation 4 controllers strictly for that game because I've been wanting to get through it for quite some time, and I got, I think, to level like 86 or 88 floor 86 or 88, and I just lost interest, and by the time I got back into it, I wanted to restart. That game can be pretty long too, so that doesn't exactly help the situation. But that's one of the things about funny quirks that I'd mention. And one other thing I should mention is being disabled and not able to work for a living and having to draw a disability. I won't get into that, and I'm not trying to ask for pity or anything. I feel like I live a pretty good life, all things considered. But I don't put a whole lot of money... Well, I shouldn't say I don't put a whole lot of money into my computers. I just build one for about $600 that can last a good 7 to 10 years. And then I enjoy what I can on it, is typically how I go about things. If a game comes out and my computer can't handle it, I just go, tough luck. Tough luck, Blaze. You can't play that game. As much as you'd like to, you gotta wait until this computer either junks out on you or it comes to a point where you have to build a new machine. So, yeah, $600, just basically a decent budget processor, 16 gigs of dual channel memory, just some of the cheap 2400 megahertz, enough hard storage space for what you need, and your graphics card. The graphics cards I buy are pretty basic. The one I have in my gaming desktop right now is AMD RX 570 that I bought back in, like, I think 2008, 2009, and I am still pretty satisfied with its performance. But anyways, that's my thoughts on PC gaming and how I feel about certain things. I appreciate you leaving the comment and subscribing, by the way. That's always nice. And if there's any more videos you'd like for me to make, let me know, and I'll see if I can make them.